Hey everybody, thanks for joining us again for another one. This is American Coin and Currency live stream podcast we have every week, 1 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. This episode's name is Deal Flow Market Signals Inside American Coin and Currency. This is Dustin Lee, host and social media at American Coin and Currency. We've got John Mady, CEO, founder, American Coin and Currency. How's it going?
It's going great, Dustin. How are you today?
It's been great. Markets are, refreshed, for Q1. I'm excited to talk about what we've been getting in house. A lot of stuff has been showing up, a lot of deals being made, a lot of coins not available now because, the market's hot. It's really excited to see things kind of at a flow with inventory and, being able to expand our operations more with our social media. So I've been able to really expand my horizons and see what's going on. So good times. Good times. How's everything on your end?
We've been so so busy. It's just been which is great. It's nonstop. And at this point what becomes difficult, because I've used the term before, coinaholic.
Yeah.
I'm a coinaholic. Like, I just love coins. So when people call, and we get a lot of calls from people watching our show, you have to be picky as to what we purchase, because some things just don't sell, or don't, they're very niche items. Yeah. So, if someone calls and they have like bullion or graded coins, like that's never an issue. But when you get into, like a lot of foreign coins, raw items, I just sent in a couple pieces to PCGS to get graded. The 1879 and 1889 Carson City Morgans, which are key dates, they're both counterfeit. And these came out of a roll that I bought from somebody. No. I doubt the person that had them knew that they were counterfeit either. I really couldn't tell. Like, I was surprised. I look them over with a loop before I send them. So I'm just, it's, my phone rings off the hook pretty much all day, and it's just really just now it's at a point of we're always buying, but we're always buying certain items, and certain items sell a lot faster and are a lot more liquid, and that's really the key for a lot of this, is the liquidity. You can get to some items that let's say you buy a really crazy expensive, like half dime, or a 3-cent piece or something like that. There's a finite amount of people that collect them, especially if you're talking about like a $20,000-$30,000 piece. So something like that, no one wants to sit on that kind of money for months on end waiting for it to sell. So, and I'm not saying that's typically what comes in, but that's just an example. But we've also had a lot of great products come through too recently that we've we buy at great prices, and then we turn around and we either sell them in house to my coworkers will then sell them to their customers, or we put them up on our digital platforms, online platforms, and sell through there. So you're going to see a lot more listings on our eBay coming up, and a lot of them. What I decided to do was start listing a lot. I have boxes and boxes of graded coins that are just low tier, and I've never done anything with them, and I've just had them for years, and I'm like, let's start putting these up online and not just have high end items, but also lower tier items. $100, and what I mean like $100, $75 pieces instead of 5,000 or $8,000 pieces, and that way everyone can get involved. And it's also a great way to bring new customers into the fold, using those online platforms to sell product. So yeah, we've been busy as can be, my man.
It's nice to have so much inventory to access, but at the same time, some of those top tier coins are gone. So,
well, we were able to get some more of the 4-coin gold sets.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, because I was like, I wanted to get
they
some
sold
of my
quickly.
customers. I wanted that to get a little bit of action.
And I'm working on getting hopefully like 100 more of the PCGS congratulations sets. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Of course, they're going to cost a few more bucks now because online, they're expensive. They're $1,200-$1,300. I see them for the top pedigree. Some even more. We saw that Mercanti signed piece up there. It was like $1,000 or something like that. Now, of course, that's what people are asking. It's not necessarily what it's selling for, but in general, they're all 4 figures, which is great. And I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. So it's exciting. Like, this is a great time. And just more and more people seem to be selling. Like today, I'll give you a perfect example, and then we can expand on this a little further. But I went to Boca Raton this morning, which is the south end of Palm Beach County. I live in Jupiter. That's the very north end. So it's like 45 minutes. I went down there. This couple had called me the other day. They have so many coins that they couldn't come to the office. So one thing that we do is we do offer, especially for elderly people,
Yeah, makes sense.
These boxes are very heavy, like I'll go to their house and set an appointment, go to their house. So I was going to Boca this morning anyway. And so it was kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It worked out perfect. Went to their house. A very nice very nice couple. The gentleman's father had collected. They're probably in their early 70s. So, he collected back in the 40s and 50s. And they had 4 large boxes, completely filled with all kinds of, mint sets and proof sets and rolls and junk silver and GSA Morgans, and there was no graded coins whatsoever, but there was just a lot of stuff. Most of the value of the collection is in the silver itself, but for them, it's going to be a huge windfall. And I really didn't have a chance to like really dig in deep because there was just so much. So I take a lot of photos. And then when I come back to my office, I can, it's one of the great things about these glasses I wear is that I can take video and photos with these. And so that helps. I come back to the office and then I start going through, all my photos, and then I come up with a number to offer. But that's always for me the most exciting part. I enjoy that the most. Because it's like a treasure hunt, right? You don't know what you're walking into, what might be there. They did have a lot of, and by a lot, I mean like 10 to 15 of the US mint sets that that typically have like a gold and a silver eagle or like a
Oh,
gold
okay.
liberty. They've done many variations over the years. Unfortunately, as I opened each one up, someone had taken the gold piece out and only left the silver. So
Wow.
they had no gold whatsoever. They would have had a nice amount had someone not done that. He says his sisters took them.
Oh,
Who knows? But yeah, I mean that's if we do end up buying this collection, most of it will just be sold out, will wholesaled out pretty much, and the choice pieces will be sold to our customers in house and online.
yeah. I was talking before we started the show. Maybe we can start doing some giveaways to everybody in the audience. You know,
Yeah,
so yeah,
I
definitely
love
tune in.
engagement. So yeah, if we could further engagement, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. We'll give you guys a little bit of insights on going forward with that. So we'll let you know. But definitely give us a call, 561-310-8341. Uniquecoins at gmail.com. Check us out, Coin and Currency, American ACC on eBay. We're going to be listing some new items. I know we had the Superman. We had that Mercury dime just sold immediately. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's some good coins on there. If you aren't looking for anything that's Mint State 70, of course, we have a lot of that as well. An advanced release and FDI or DCAM or Mercanti. Or we have mostly Damstra and Gaudioso, but yeah, we do get some Mercanti as well sometimes.
Yeah, and people love like that Mercury dime that you just mentioned. That
Yeah.
was a PCGS in the old green holder, OGH. So if you're ever online uh, and you see OGH next to a description, what they're talking about is there we go, the old green holder. So that's an early iteration of a PCGS slab with that green holder
Oh, okay, okay.
where, and that people collect these, just for the green holder, and of course a nice coin. Um, and the theory goes is that people like to get these and resubmit them for hopefully a higher grade.
Ah, okay, okay. That makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, getting those, we've been getting a good amount of those in with walk-in business, people selling, inherited collections. Um, we're always looking for anything early NGC slabs with, and a great way to quickly notice that it's an early NGC slab is the printing on the label is dot matrix. It's
Ah,
that
yeah,
old style. It's what I'm talking about. So
yeah.
that's a really easy clue to know that that's a like a second generation NGC slab. The first generation NGC slabs, I I don't think I've had one come through here. And people collect like those are really collectible. People collect those slabs just for being a first generation NGC slab. And same thing with PCGS, the very early PCGS, even earlier than it'll be an old green holder, but it would have dot matrix, dot matrix printing on it, and
Hmm.
that's a really quick tell to know. And if you ever come across one and it's a good deal, scoop it up because the old green holders will always carry a little bit of a premium on them as opposed to just a modern reholdered piece.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, what a dynamic to have that, because I mean even the grade itself has value, and then on top of that the slab being older, and then like even had like a CAC sticker on it as well. I mean, that'd be
Yep.
cool. Dot
Yep.
matrix and a CAC, uh, that'd be really expensive. um Definitely sought out for, so
Well,
yeah,
here's,
okay.
here's my hand's not working. Here's one
Ah,
with,
nice, yeah,
or what we used to refer to as the jelly bean sticker.
yeah, the jelly bean, yeah.
But yeah, this is actually a beautiful piece. 1878 San Francisco MS64, and this is an
Oh, that's
older
nice.
slab because it is the I don't know if you can really see it, but you could the printing is that old dot matrix. probably hard to see. But yeah, this is
Yeah.
what you're just referring to, an old slab with the jelly bean. So that's funny that I
Nice.
have.
Exactly. I figured one of those would have it. um, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so this was from the previous deal that you got with that suitcase and all that.
Yeah, the gentleman who was moving out of the country, he had literally. I think you posted some of the videos I took. I mean, just
Yeah.
trunks, literally trunks. He had a lot more than the people. Not a lot more than the people this morning. I mean, to come into a collection where there's literally just boxes and boxes and boxes, that's not the norm. Um,
Hmm.
that's maybe one out of every 20 or 30 that happens with. Normally it's just people have just a couple pieces of something.
Okay.
And and one thing that I always like to put out there, because one of the things we do on this show is we really do try to educate.
True.
Whether you're a novice or you're advanced, you can always learn more. I know I always learn more every day. um, but keeping that in mind, um, you have to be wary about what's being purchased, and in particular, going back to this collection, everyone has their own thing that they like to buy.
Hmm.
My best advice, though, is to buy not buy products where they're creating 5 million of them. So
No.
like
No.
proof sets, things like that. Um, Also, um, I don't want to say any company's name, so I'm not gonna, but there are companies out there, other dealers that have been around for decades,
Hmm.
and their business model is they sell coins, but it's more about the packaging than the coin itself. So they'll have really nice display boxes, and display boxes with drawers. I have a couple over here. I don't, they're heavy. I don't want to grab them, but the presentation is gorgeous. So the perceived value, because of that packaging,
Hmm.
is boosted way up. And I've
Right.
seen this so many times over the years. Problem is that for the most part, the coin that's on the inside is not, the packaging is worth more than the coin sometimes. So that's a piece of advice I'd always say. Like, and I know people like to buy everyone buys their own things for their own reasons, but focus more on the coin than how the packaging looks. You can always buy a display box later from us. Any size you want, 1, 2 holder, 5 holder, 10. There's wooden ones, there's metal, there's all kinds. But focus more on the coin than the packaging. And like I said, there's a few companies out there that have done extremely well and have been around. One of them for over 40 years. And whenever I come across a collection and I see that, I know that the people are going to be disappointed when I come back to them with the number, because they bought they bought the packaging, they bought the display, they bought the presentation, not so much, even though they thought they were buying the coin, that they bought more so that stuff. So that's something I always, and I'm just bringing this up based off of what I'm seeing as of right now in our discussion, and of course educating people on because on what to buy and what not to buy, because that is important. This gal this morning, she was really disappointed when one of the boxes probably had, I don't know, 300 proof sets,
Wow.
going from like the 70s, from like 71 up to the 90s. And when I told her that, they're almost unbuyable. I can't do anything with them. Um, on eBay, you can get them for, between $5 and $10. Um, so the person who's selling them on eBay probably bought them for a couple bucks. And
Right.
and then the time it takes, we don't have any customers that will necessarily buy that kind of stuff. But they also did have a box of early date proof sets, which are worth more money. I believe in 1936 was the first year. That might be Mint sets, was the first year of production. So they had some in the 50s going up to 63. Those can come in the original, a different kind of packaging. It's looks like this. This is a 64. So the mint used to send out the coins in an envelope when you bought them from the mint. And there's the set there. So that's a 1964 proof set. Of course, 64 they still had 90% silver, and from 65 to 70 they were 40% silver. You know, the dime, the quarter, and the half dollar. After 70, 71 and up, you know, unless you're an extraordinarily lucky person and you have a 1975 with a missing S dime, which is worth $500,000. Um, you know, there's not much you're going to be able to do. And I really dislike the feeling I get when I tell someone what the value is, what the current value is of some of these items, and you could just see the elation that they once had kind of come out of them, like a balloon kind of with the air coming out. Because one thing that happens very, very often is just because something's old doesn't mean it's valuable. And you know, you could look at ancient coins. There's Greek coins and Roman coins where you can get them for under $100, sometimes under 100. And you're talking about a coin that's 2,000 years old. So,
wow,
yeah, it's just that's and I'm looping back around to a point, which is we're always stressing, Dustin, why you should purchase, if not from us, from another dealer who carries products as good as ours, because you get what you pay for. So the amount of money that person spent on proof sets, he could have bought one nice coin back then when he was buying all those that would have appreciated in value all these years, as opposed to now having literally a box filled with stuff that really nobody wants. We give those away at coin shows and other things that we do to kids. You know, we don't even sell them. The 71 and up to a current date.
dang.
So it's it's just educated purchasing and listening to our show, and that's how you're gonna succeed in your coin buying adventures.
Yeah, I like that you always circle back on the, instead of buying 10 of one thing or massive these lower end products and coins, just getting one solid coin. I mean, that's just the best advice you can give anybody. I mean, to sell these items is going to take forever to have 20 customers to sell to, or just one person. That's huge, especially eBay. You're going to get the fees. You're going to eat up on the cost. And, you might as well get something that's just going to hold value over time. Just one good piece.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, and also in these collections, I've been seeing some nice paper, some currency, old notes.
Okay, cool.
Which are always, I love notes. I think I like notes, the artwork more than coins, because
True.
the engraving that was done on those plates to create those notes is so intricate, and some of them are just stunning. They're literally artwork, and they were made to be artwork. And I think we've mentioned this before on the show, where back in the late 1900s, early 1900s, late 1800s, they created actually Teddy Roosevelt. It was the 1907, the $2, the $5, and I'm sorry, the $1, $2, $5, $10. They're known as educational notes, and the purpose being that they wanted to bring a little bit of, how should I say it, art and establishment and kind of culture to rural America that didn't have a museum, in their area where they could go see beautiful things. So they created
That's
these
true.
notes that are
Huh.
absolutely stunning.
Interesting.
The reverses are absolutely beautiful. I don't have any here to show you right in front of me. But yeah, so that's been really cool. Also, one thing I bought the other in a collection was the Zimbabwe notes. I'm sure you're familiar with those.
I should bust out mine.
But what I think is really awesome is that
Is the 100 trillion?
yeah, I have the 100 trillion, but you
Yeah.
don't see many of these.
Oh, the one note. Yeah, I don't really have any of those.
Yeah,
Great
and it's
check,
great
20.
at 67.
I know. I need to send mine in. I really do. I got so
So
many.
I love the one note or the $1, I should say. And then, of course, in this book, there's it quickly. It's funny because this is like 2007, and
Yeah.
then you'll see by 2008 they have
Oh, yeah.
$100 billion note, 20 billion,
it
500 billion, and then a
just went
trillion,
up.
the 10 trillion, and then finally
Yeah. The 100
the
trillion.
100. Here it is.
I
It's not
know.
graded, but
Oh, yeah. That's what I got. Is it AA? Yeah, I got AA. Oh, that's a. Wait. Is it the AA or is it the silver? What's the
no, it's
numbers on it? Wait,
the
wait.
numbers on this.
Because if it's silver or gold, then there's no consecutive like AA or AB.
This is gold, and it's gold 99999 six nines.
I don't know if that's a real one. That might not be real.
Really?
Yeah, the ones have two A's. It's AA or AB. The ones that have 999 are in gold and silver. I don't know if it's real or not. I could be wrong, but to my knowledge, it's not.
Yeah, this one is different. The other ones are paper. This one is literally metal.
Okay, I don't know if that's like a commemorative kind of thing.
It could be.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Yeah.
I'll have to send you one.
But I do have the paper of all the other, like I said, 100 billion, 500 billion, trillion.
Yeah,
Uh, but it shows in just a couple years, and we've had this discussion
it's
many
like
times before,
yeah,
where you go from
$1
that
to 100 trillion.
to that
That's like
in
toilet
no
paper.
time.
I know I
Yeah.
was in Argentina. They were like throwing the Bolivar or whatever in the trash. They're just like
Wow.
Venezuela is Venezuela.
Yeah, Venezuela went through it as well.
Yeah,
And it's
Venezuela. Marx. No, it was yeah, Marx. Or was it Marx? It was prior to Marx, I believe, in Germany. They're using it to as like not kindling, but start fires as like fire starter.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's
Toilet
stories
paper.
about people going to buy a loaf of bread and a wheelbarrow filled with German marks, and
Yeah.
people would dump the marks out and steal the wheelbarrow.
Uh, yeah, we should have an episode where we pull out all our notes and show everybody. So yeah, I have like all
Well,
sorts of stuff.
I do have. Now that you're mentioning the marks, I'm going to get this one graded, perhaps. That's $1 million mark. So think about how much $1 million was back in
Oh my.
the early. This is I'm going to say the 30, 33-ish,
Man,
30.
I got
I'm
bust
sorry,
out.
this is 1923.
Oh, that's
So
loaf of
yeah,
bread. Yeah. Couple
crazy.
eggs. Yeah,
Yeah.
money is just it's insane.
So I really haven't had a chance to really go through these notes, really well. Oh, here you go. Here's here's a $20 billion.
Yes, that's very familiar. Yeah.
So there's an AB. See, I'm learning something new. Okay, I see. Yeah. So just like U.S. notes, there's a letter and then a numerical sequence afterwards. So
Yeah, I
this
think
is
there's
AA, then the numerical sequence.
yeah, AA, there's AAAB, and there's I believe 13 at least 10 markings for security. Um, so I think there's a strip. There's a image in the back. I did all and then I was doing dinaras too. I was selling Iraqi dinar, which is still a current currency. So I was selling those as well. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's neat.
yeah,
Yeah, so I still need to
I
go
love
through
that.
this currency album and
Ah,
see what's what, because a lot of it's foreign, so I haven't had a chance to go through it. Another thing that a gentleman came in with, going back to the subject of our show today, which is kind of what has been happening here at the company and what we've been seeing and buying and
yeah.
selling.
What's going
Um,
on?
Gentleman came in and he has this is someone totally different than a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, someone came in and he had some 1715 shipwreck coins,
Oof,
uh, both
nice.
the a couple of scudos, which are the gold, and
Yeah.
about 20 of the silver cobs, the reals,
Ooh,
um, with
very
nice
nice.
markings, as well as he had all kinds of provenance with it. Um, there's a book called The Real Eight, which The Real Eight is a company that was formed by Mel Fisher, who discovered the
Uh,
Etosha years later, as well as Kip Wagner and some other gentlemen up in Melbourne back in the 50s when Kip Wagner rediscovered the 1715 fleet tragedy
mm,
after it had been forgotten by history. And so in the book, he had every member of that organization had signed the book, which I thought was really cool. And so, anyway, so the gentleman who came in the other day, I'm still looking up the notes. I had to actually buy a book to let me show everyone what it is. These are great. They cost a few bucks, but um, a lot of non-US notes. And what I mean by that are state notes. So before the Federal Reserve organized and we had basically one currency being printed.
mm,
Prior to that, you had almost every bank in the country was printing their own currency. So, you have like the Bank of Pensacola, the Bank of Tampa, and it was all different currency. Uh, he had some really cool Florida notes,
mm.
$1, $2. This is from 1862. $1, $2, $3, $5, $10, $20, $50, and $100. Um, which happens to be I have that whole collection already, which was kind of cool. Um, that I was able to get another one to be able to offer to the public. But even cooler than those was, and I should have sent you pictures of these before our show so you could have put them up. But
Mm.
the East Coast Railroad Bank, I didn't know that there was an East Coast Railroad Bank at one point down here in
Oh,
Florida.
okay.
And so they had created what are known as obsolete currency. So any of these banks that created their own notes, any states that created their own notes, it's obsolete currency. So I literally had to buy this book to research some of these notes because they're not online. Like I couldn't find any information, uh, especially when you get granular with a couple of pieces that he had. So that's something. It's not just like people coming in or me going. If someone has too much stuff, like I said earlier, I will sometimes go to the person's home. Uh, a lot of times it's very time consuming. Sometimes
Right.
I can do really quick. I've done this for so long that I can just take my phone and boop, 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 and sometimes I don't even need it. I can just calculate it in my head for the most part.
Right.
But when you get into real things of rarity, where there's not a lot of information, you literally have to order books. That takes a lot of time, to there's only so many hours in the day besides running the company. I'm the one here who does a lot of the research on the rarer items. So I love doing it because I learn something new each time I do. Uh, so hopefully, once I get all the prices together and if it's an agreeable price, I'll be able to purchase those notes, get them graded, and then we'll present them on the show and show everyone what there's and every state did it, and some of them are really really valuable. Like Alaska, they had one bank, and if you had
Wow.
at that with the obsolete notes, so those are like $10,000 and up for one of those because
Wow.
there's so few. Whereas most obsolete notes are $200, $300, unless you get into something rare where, of course, the prices can change. But I found that really, really cool and interesting that this gentleman had those Florida notes. So,
Hmm.
and then of
So
course we get. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, what is like your like what is your process of like, looking at the coins? You scan them, you're looking up like previous sales, like what's like your kind of like your
That's a
process?
great question. Great
Yeah.
question. So it varies. If the items are graded, that makes life very easy
True.
because everything's already on the label. There's a numerical identifier, which we can then go to NGC or PCGS or Annex or ICG
Mhm.
and make sure that that is an authentic piece. Um, for raw pieces, it gets a little more difficult, especially if so you have, let's say with raw, right? Either you're going to have junk silver or you're
Mhm.
going to have raw rarity. And by
Mhm.
that, I mean like 1889 Carson City. And
Mhm.
hopefully it's not a counterfeit like the one I got.
Jeez.
Um, so with junk silver, that just I just weigh that. There's the looking through each individual piece, hoping to find maybe one that's a slightly rare is a fool's errand in my opinion, because if you have the time to do it and I enjoy looking through dates, which I do enjoy doing if
Mhm.
time allows. Um, but yeah, I just put all that on a scale. It gets weighed. Any junk silver, dimes, quarters, half dollars, and dollars. And then if while I'm going through things, you can kind of tell by how the collection was stored, what kind of value is going to be there. So if someone has, let's say, a box, 16 by 16 by 16 box filled
Mhm.
with stuff, and there's bags with coins in it, right? Let's say a bag of silver. That's just junk silver. I'm not going
Ah,
to go through that.
makes
But
sense.
if there's a book or like, folders that have sleeves in them where individual coins can be held, my
Ah,
interest perks up instantly because I'm pretty sure that there's going to be something of rarity in there, and 9 out of 10 times there is. So
mhm.
that's what I look for. I really do look for how the coins were stored, and then if I see that, wow, that whoever had these really
Mhm.
took a lot of time and made sure these were preserved correctly, then
Mhm.
I pretty sure that we might have a winner. If it's just in bags and bags and loose and all that, then and it's only worth its silver content, and anything else would just be copper clad and more face value. I'm sure people that do this for maybe a hobby and make a few extra bucks, they might buy that stuff like the copper clad stuff, the modern
Right.
copper clad, and put it up on eBay if they can get it cheap enough from someone that they buy it from and make a couple dollars. But for us, that's not what we do. We focus more on the higher end. So I'll buy that and it just gets wholesaled. I just wholesale it all out.
Yeah.
Or if it's stuff in decent condition, like AU or better, whether it's dimes, quarters, half dollars, or dollars. And by dollars, I mean peace dollars and Morgans. Um, we will put them in rolls and we will sell them to either our customers or put them up online. In fact, you're going to see up on eBay in the next few days, we're going to be listing a lot of rolls because we have
Yeah.
a ton of them. And they're nice, really, really nice condition. Dimes, again, dimes. There's going to be a lot of war nickels up there, which are 35% silver. and that's from 1942 to 1945. So
Ooh.
anyone out there who likes to go through coins, pull those nickels out because they're worth a few bucks.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean that's the process, and each case is different.
Right.
Each each transaction is different. Sometimes if it's depending on, and of course it depends on the person coming to us to sell.
Mm.
If they need, listen, I want to sell this right away. I just let's move it. I consider that a fire sale. Like, you want to sell, you need it right now. Fine, here's the price. It's junk, you're going to get junk silver
Mm.
price on junk silver, less,
Yeah.
the refinery fee, which is now 15%. And then of course we have to make a few dollars in there too. Or you're gonna get a much better price if something is in a higher, better preserved condition, because that just yields more money. So
Yeah, it's similar to Pokemon. So I have the same kind of dynamic as if I pulled the cards out, put them in sleeves, and place them. I've been selling cards at my house, so I have like kind of like a vending kind of look. Um, and so people do appreciate it more so when it's displayed a certain way or it's preserved a certain way, especially grading wise. If that's what they're looking for, rather than just a box full of Pokemon cards, they're not going to really value it. So yeah, that definitely determines the value when it comes to somebody coming across the cards, because you put that time and energy into it, especially if you're piecing them out, so you kind of identify them a little bit better rather than just like a bulk amount of silver coins in like a bag or something like that. So I could see people could nickel and dime that and be like, oh, okay, well, this key dates. But if they, as the owner of these coins, could actually pull them out and like look at them and have them in like albums or graded them, that's going to be easier for you to identify them. I wanted to ask, like, what kind of tools do you bring? You mentioned the weight, you bring your loot, or
yeah,
you check it out. Like, what kind of tools do you bring with you when you go to these? Um,
yeah. So typically, I really only need, at this point, I bring my loop, and I bring pad and paper,
mm,
and I'll bring my iPad or my phone to take
mm,
photos, or my glasses,
yeah.
and that's I don't need much more than that. Everything else is, anything I don't know about is just going to be research.
Mm,
But
true.
for the most part, I can get it. I can look at it and pretty much be in the ballpark of what the value what the value is. Now,
Mm,
there's some anomalies every once in a while
of
where
course.
I might find something after I purchased it that's in a bag that's worth more than just silver, but that doesn't happen too often. Like I said, we just wholesale the low grade, very circulated stuff. We wholesale that out, and that just gets melted. It gets made into silver bars.
Mm,
But like I said, refiners now are charging between 15 and 20%. So, you know, you got to
ooh,
knock that right off the top, plus another 10% because they're 90%. Well, actually, they're not truly 90%. The real melt value on a Morgan silver dollar is 0.76%. So it's basically
oh,
three-quarters pure. I
yeah.
never understood why it shows the 90%, when if you look in Redbook, it shows what the melt content is. And
Mm,
so, but let's just use the 10% for now. So on junk silver, dimes, quarters, half dollars, dollars,
right.
10% because it's not pure, and another 15 or to 20% that the refiners are charging. That has nothing to do with us.
Mm,
So you're at 30, 30, 25, 30% off spot at that point, off a melt. And then we typically add in, depending on what it is, I've gone as low as 5%. It's normally between 5 and 10% is our margin on that,
yeah,
um,
makes
because
sense.
it's an easy transaction for us. There's not a lot to, well, there's no research to be done on junk silver.
Mm,
And, the people are generally happy with the price because because it is junk silver pre-1964, these items were gathered and collected 1964 or earlier, or a few years after that. So it's
Right.
it's almost pure profit to the person who's bringing them in, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, of course, face value dime or a quarter, it's like significantly higher when it comes to melt. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's where the spread in the business comes from, and that's whether it's pure or junk. If I go and I buy, let's say someone comes in with 100 ounces of gold. Um, One other thing, I got to go back real quick. The other thing we do, if someone comes in and they're just looking to sell, we'll buy the collection, or I tell people if they have good stuff. Um, why don't and you have time, why don't we consign it, because you'll get the most money by consigning it to us, and that
Mhm.
way we can list it, we can put it on our online platforms, we could put it in our in-house inventory for our salespeople to sell to their clients. And in those cases that could take a week or it could take a couple months, but generally, not generally, always the yield, the return to the customer is greater when it's consigned, and that's just because it allows more time.
Sure. Yeah. Give us a call, 561-310-8341. Uniquecoins, gmail.com, Coin and Currency Net, Americans ACC. Find us on Google, Yelp, American Coin and Currency. You'll find us anywhere on Google. Um, yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, I'm in the similar kind of thing where at least e-commerce, like laptops, I worked on them forever, so I can identify certain things and issues and things, or even them just mentioning certain things, like what's going on. So, it takes years and years to have that kind of identification
Sure.
to be able to like see coins from like a distance. Like, oh, this is but like you said, there's anomalies. There's sometimes you run into stuff that's just not normal. um like you mentioned, the counterfeit stuff, like that can be passed through, especially being able to like have those counterfeits like spot on, like to their normal look.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are definitely a
Well,
pitfall for a lot of people, I'm sure.
that's what another thing people that are watching and listening should keep in mind. This just happened to me before the show where I was on eBay because I was looking for comps for some coins. I'm
Mm,
still going through the collection that was purchased almost 2 weeks ago from the
right.
guy with all the chunks of coins. But I see the same coin, and there's one guy listing it. If you see everyone listing something around $200 and someone has one the same thing for $75, I would be very wary. There
Yeah.
are so many fake Chinese fakes
Oh,
coming in the market, and they are identical to the PCGS and NGC slabs.
bad.
Um, I think they're even getting to the point now where they're using the same numerical identifiers on the higher end pieces. That's
Oh,
really freaking scary because that's what, even as a dealer, I mean, if it's in a slab, I can't pull it out to weigh it. Weighing a coin is one of the surefire ways of determining whether or not it's genuine.
true.
Um, if it's in a slab, I can't weigh it, and so then I can't determine whether or not it's counterfeit. Because even with a loop, and even with all my experience, some of them they're just so good, and now they have the gold pieces that are slab. They have the weight because there's a little bit of gold on the outside, and then they're using
Right.
tungsten or something like that on the
Yeah.
inside, another very heavy metal or element, I should say. And so yeah, point being, if you're shopping and you see everyone at around the price, and then someone is like more than half off of those, don't even though it's tempting to do it, I personally wouldn't buy, because I've seen people list and then they sell whatever they have, and then that account is gone. The closed account.
Yeah. That's what happened with the Pokemon cards this last week, and
Yeah,
and I've I've seen that same kind of dynamic with the other cards too. I'm like, I'm not falling for it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's the same concept. Is that they have an account with no feedback. They might have one or two sales or something, and the price is just 3x less, and then all of a sudden they have like 10 of these, whatever, it's like,
yeah.
how,
Yeah,
um
that's like arguing. That's like arguing with someone online, and their Instagram or their X account only has like one follower and like 500 posts, and it's a bot, right? But you're arguing with
yeah.
a bot. It's the same kind of thing. I did want to ask you a real quick, Dustin.
Yeah.
Uh, are there with the Pokemon cards? So with coins, there's something called PVC damage. So really great coins that were held in PVC albums for many years, decades, developed what's known as PVC damage. So when
Yeah.
these coins go in to get graded, they come back as details, PVC damage, which on a very rare coin, you could be talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not
Oof.
more. Or even on a lower end coin, you could be talking about thousands of dollars. So I'm just wondering with Pokemon cards, if there's anything like that. If I don't know if Pokemon's even been around long enough for that to happen, but is there something you should not store your cards in?
I think so. I think they kind of upgraded because PCGS and PSA are the same company. So I
Yeah,
think in the late 90s, they kind of fixed that problem. Um, it does happen. It's very rare, but yeah, if you're going to like, leave your cards out in high temperatures, um, I think that's important. A lot of people, especially with his name Gary, he's like one of the top like Pokemon, whatever people. He has his stuff in like temperature controlled stuff. So, um, it's the same as anything with plastic in general or PVC. Like you don't want to have it in high temperatures or super extreme cold temperatures, or like, have it like expand from like cold to hot really fast. Um, so yeah, it's not as common, but yeah, I mean, if you get sun damage on it or stuff like that, or heat exposure, not so much moisture, but sometimes can be. As long as it's PSA and Beckett, I think those kind of really hold. Maybe some of the other grains, I know the acrylics are a little bit softer or thinner,
yeah,
so those could be easily damaged. Or they put them in sleeves as well. I noticed that some of the lower grade um, grading companies, they put it in a sleeve in the case, which isn't like what PSA does. The card itself is encapsulated, really fit, snug. So they don't put it in a sleeve. So um, I think maybe those, if it had too much heat to it, could probably damage the card more if it was on the sleeve as well.
yeah,
Um, so
makes
yeah,
sense.
not as common, but yeah. Uh, but yeah, let's we got some time here. I know we might go over, there's some questions from the community, get some responses here. Let's see. What one coin or segment you think is currently undervalued? Segment.
I think right now commemoratives, higher end commemoratives, are undervalued.
Hmm.
So if you go to everyone who's gonna collect or collect should own a red book. It's
Yeah.
a $15 investment.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Totally worth
but
it.
there's so much. Yeah, it's totally worth it. So if you look in your red book, you'll see there's all the commemoratives in there, and they've been going up in value, especially the gold pieces, the McKinley, the
Oh,
Grant, the
nice.
Lewis and Clark, the
Ooh.
Sesquicentennial, and
Hmm.
those are the ones that right off the top of my head, especially in higher grades.
Hmm.
Now, every once in a while, I do get those raw. Every once in a while, they do come through, and
Whoa, that's
someone bought
cool.
it. Yeah, it's really cool when I see one of those. And like I think I told you they did a when they opened the the Panama Canal in 1904, they created a 5-coin gold set that is stunning and extremely valuable. Unfortunately, I've never had one of those come through, like a whole set. But yeah, commemoratives, to answer the question.
Commemoratives, yeah. Makes sense. Limited quantity and release. All right. Great show as always. Really appreciate real behind the scenes perspective you guys bring every week. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Let's see. What coins are selling fast right now versus sitting?
Coins are selling fastest right now versus sitting. So your silver eagles, your gold eagles, any graded Morgans, higher end peace dollars, of course, gold liberties, from $1 all the way up to $20 denomination, always sell fast. The things that sit are, like we said at the beginning of the show, very if you own a Feuchtwanger, which was it is a coin. It's known as a Feuchtwanger. It was an alloy was invented by this German physicist or metallurgist, I should say, Dr. Feuchtwanger. And so they started using that alloy to create coins. Something like that is going to sit. Things that there's not a large collecting community are going to sit. Notes, currency that's in poor condition is going to sit. No one wants that unless it's something that's very rare and in poor condition, which is rare in and of itself to get. Because anything like that, whether it's coin or currency, has most likely already been graded at this point, has been discovered and graded if it was worth it. So those are the kinds of things that sit.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, some of those like those proof sets you mentioned, I don't think those are going to sell quick.
No.
Yeah, it's definitely going to take a hit. Have you noticed a shift from raw coins to graded coins and what people are bringing in?
There's no determination. There's nothing nothing that we can do to gauge that.
Right.
In my experience, I would say, if I'm guessing, 80% of people have raw that come in.
Okay.
20% have graded and some raw.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with that big old bulk case you had, a suitcase full of stuff. Is just like insane.
Well, in that case, he had more graded than raw, which was why I bought it.
Yeah, that looked like it. Let's see. Are buyers becoming more price sensitive, and where are they pushing back?
So like any kind of business where you have sales, there's what I call ebb and flow.
Right.
And I've noticed that through certain times of the year are busier than other times. January is always a very busy month. April is probably the slowest month of the year. And the reason why, taxes. Everyone has to, who's making money is writing a check to Uncle Sam. So that kind of dampens not the real collectors who, they have money no matter what. By that I mean people that are, I said that wrong, because real collectors could collect pennies. People that are putting together high-end collections.
Yeah.
They pretty much always have it. So yeah, I mean, there's just, it's certain times of the year are slow and busy, but that changes sometimes, hourly or daily for sure, or weekly. So it just changes, and we just go with the flow, and we just continue offering great coins, great service, great pricing, and it works.
If you want to talk to us about that flow, call us 561-310-8341. Uniquecoins@gmail.com, coinandcurrency.net, eBay, American ACC. Find us Google, Yelp, Apple Maps. You can find us everywhere. Just look up online American Coin and Currency. So we're at the hour. Appreciate everyone joining us this week. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Follow us on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky. We're on everything. And definitely leave those reviews on, get those going. We had some good reviews. Check us out, eBay. We got a ton of product coming in, like John mentioned. So stay tuned, and we're going to be giving away some stuff as well. So definitely keep a pulse on what we're doing. Anything people are looking forward to for you? What's going on? Looking forward this week? What's going on in John's world?
Well, I'm gonna finish sorting this collection and pricing, like the final prices to sell everything. So that's going to take time. And then this other collection, I'm probably going to buy that from this morning. So I'm going to have my hands full. And then of course when we get off the phone, we'll get calls from people that are watching and listening and following us. And like Dustin said, please follow us. Please add comments. If we've helped in any way, either to educate in any way, if we've helped, just, it really does help us in return if you do subscribe to or like us or leave us a positive comment about our show and our service and what we're doing and trying to accomplish for our customers and potential customers.
Yeah, 100%. Appreciate you guys. We're here every week, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Thursdays, we got a ton of content coming out, of course. A lot of videos. Actually, we're talking about Tosha and the shipwreck treasure this week, and we've been showing videos on the purchases John has been checking out. So definitely stay tuned for more content on that side. And final words, definitely keep an eye out on coins. It's hard to tell the difference. Like we mentioned, you scan them in, check them out, PCGS facts or anything, coin facts, anything you can look up on your end to protect yourself. And definitely don't buy the cheapest item if it's like 3 or 5 times less than price. Obviously it's not real. Definitely check us out. Last final plug here, 561-310-8341. And let us know if you guys have a collection you want to get rid of. I know tax time, it's getting a little crunch. You need to make some liquidity happen. Boom. Put that.
Yeah, if you want to travel, whatever. Like the couple this morning, they want to sell this stuff because they want to travel. And hey, you got to do you have to do it while you can. So yeah, give us a call and turn that into cash.
Turn it into cash. We'll help you. Give us a call. All right. We'll see you guys on the next one. This is American Coin and Currency. And today's episode is deal flow and market signals inside American Coin and Currency. And we'll be back on the next one. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you on the flip side.
See you guys.